Howdy y'all, Spideera here. This is a rank and review for Love is in the Air. Love is in the Air is a story about a rich, sexy, mysterious graduate who has his eyes on a young, naive, adorable freshman who goes to the same school, and he decides to pull this young, innocent guy into his underground web of bike racing and sexual deviancy. Yeah, okay, I'm exaggerating, but that's kind of the story. The main gist is that the guy is popular, everybody wants him, everybody likes him, and the other guy, who's really ridiculously naive, kind of just stumbles across, a kind of semi-screwed up situation in which, before he knows it, he owes this guy money, and let the chips fall where they may. Anyway, I have to give these guys a 10. An over the moon, 100%. Oh my God, somebody did an excellent job with the making of this show, 10. This is one of my favorites. This is one that I would say belongs in a collection. If you have a collection of shows and you can get your hands on this is one you want for the books there. So now, why is it a 10? It checks every single box on my 10, the top 10 things that a show has to have in order for it to be considered, a perfect BL. Now, in this case, this is a YBL. That means it goes from a Yaoi, which is sort of circumstantial, into a BL, which turns into a love story. Okay, so just for clarity's sake, since I am building the database, so if you want to find this one and you come back at another time and have trouble looking for it, you go to the search bar and you would type in YBL. Well, actually, I'm sorry, it's not YBL, it will be YB. And this one in the YouTube playlist would be YB2. If you're looking for this online, though, if you can find the uncensored version, I suggest you go watch that one. That one has more context. Now, I'm no shade to the censored version, other than it does kind of change the overall impression you're going to get of the show. The one that's on YouTube is censored, highly censored, and I understand why to a certain extent, because the original, whoo lordy, these guys put on one hell of a show. This is not porn, but it's damn close, okay? The original is that close. They're, they really take it to the mat, as it were. So I guess their attempt to make it so it can pass all the check boxes on YouTube, they had to censor this a hell of a lot. So let me kind of explain the gist of, okay, they're not losing any points for the need to censor, okay? So that's why it's still a 10. If you're watching the playlist, the YouTube version, all right, then the review that I can give is not exactly going to match the review of the uncensored. If you've already seen the uncensored and then you watch it, it's not going to change your perspective of what's going on because you know what really happened. The problem with the censorship here is that because it removes so much of the encounters that go on between them, it changes the overall narrative. So the one on YouTube comes off more like a love story than the original story, which comes off more like, threat within an inch of your life before it reaches that point. Which I like that one better. I ain't gonna lie. I really like the uncensored version. Whoever wrote this, hats off to you and then some. Okay, so getting to the point of why it's a 10. Alrighty. Everything about the original, or everything about this movie, it really is excellent. The production is great. The music is even good, even though at times it can be a little bit eyebrow raising, as in, why did they pick that song? But other than that, and given what they're probably doing, you wouldn't notice it anyway unless you were getting ready to review the show. I swear, that's the only reason I noticed anything about the music, because Yeah, they do keep your attention right where it should be. um, Overall, the story, the messaging, the acting, the appearance of the actors, completely stellar all the way around. The main actor is hot as fuck. I don't know where they found these guys, but and both of them are actually a good pair. At first, I was thinking, why are they putting this little boy type with this obviously hot guy who's, I don't think the age difference is as big as it's being portrayed in this show. Honestly, I think they're just making the young guy look a little bit younger than he probably really is. But yeah, the guy that plays Payu, jeez, sweet, you know. Now that's a guy you put on the wall, you know. That's you get a poster of him. Okay, let me stop. But anyway, yeah, this is one very nice fireworks show, and the sex scenes are nicely placed. This isn't one where you know, from the very opening scene all the way through. They do an excellent job. The scenes are placed where they belong. They don't give you that you know, big first episode and then nothing through the rest of the show. They really sprinkle this in the right amount at the right time. It's not an instant we meet, we fuck, we're friends. It's one of those where there's an actual story, and it's a good one. And the cool thing is, this is a 2-part series. So the first part, now I'm already hearing rumors there's going to be a part 2, like a Love is in the Air part 2. To be honest, I can see why they would be able to do that, because they did such a good job with the storytelling. It's not that they left anything, like there's no stones unturned at the end, but they could take this forward into, you know, what are they doing after the little one graduates? What are they doing after they decide to have a relationship? You know, that sort of thing. They really could. But anyway, so in this one, it's a 2-part series. So you have the first part with Payu and Rain, and then the second part, which I don't remember the guys' names, but they do a great job sexually too, and with their story. So both groups, they're like, it's like watching a show with 2 mains and then a lot of side characters, where the mains become the sides for the other, because they're like, you know, both guys are like friends. So it's a crossover story that is, it's really well done. This is one that, you know, unless you really, really hate looking at guys getting it on with each other, everybody, I think, who likes BL should watch this one. And that's no joke. I wouldn't say that lightly. No joke. This one is a good one. Okay, so, will you like it? If you like sex, yeah. If you like a lot of drama, if you like intrigue and violence and mystery and hell, there's even some of the stuff I don't like, and they did it so well that I do like it. You know, the little romantic play section, the eye gazing, the you know, playing hard to get, but then, oh, give me more. They have all of that. I can't think of anything they don't have in this one. You know, they have a little sprinkles of caricatures, which I don't care much for, but in this one, it's actually also well done. You know, because the people act like actual people. They're not, it's like the guy that's okay, how do I put this? There's a character who's a side character. And to be honest, I do not know if he's biologically male or not, because he's wearing a female attire. He works for Payu, family or whatever, but I think he's like the receptionist. I keep saying he, but he's coming across as a female, so I'll say she. All right, so she, but the voice makes me think that it's a biological male, but he's dressed like a woman. But here's the thing. You can't tell by looking, you know, so given that, it's not the annoying you know, like, and I know, okay, this is a personal thing with me. I don't really mind when guys dress like women. I really don't. What I mind is when they don't do the whole thing. When you come in a full beard and you've got, you know, all your muscle bound whatever, but you just squeeze it into a skirt. I'm like, dude, you know how much work it takes as a woman? I'm just saying, when I had to work like office jobs, You had to have your nails done and your toes had to be done. You had, if you were going to wear open-toed shoes, we used to have, and I'm older, so we used to have to wear skirts and slips and stockings, and then those damn girdle things that squeeze the life out of you, and then we had to stand up straight, and our hair had to, be permed and set up the right way, and it was like death walking on fucking stilts. So yeah, I get annoyed when I see guys saying, well, treat me like a woman. Then you need to go what we go through, okay, buddy? You put on the same amount of effort. I want to see those eyelashes. I want to see those nails. I want to see those pearly whites. I want you to do what I have to do. And then, yeah, dude, I will call you a she. The guy in this show who looks like the woman who's probably, I don't know what, the secretary. I will call that woman a woman all day long, because she put in the work, okay? She put in more work than I do. Thankfully, I'm retired. I don't do that shit anymore, but oh my God. Okay. That's just a tangent on my part. Let me stop ranting. Because this has nothing. This story really, that character has such a teeny tiny part. It's kind of irrelevant. It's just that for me, this is one of the few shows I've seen. There's 3 on the market right now that I can think of where they handle all of the different, stereotype characters in the story in a way that it's not offensive, it's not over the top, it's not vulgar, and it doesn't irritate. At least me as the viewer, I'm not irritated by the way they present it, is what I'm saying. They do an excellent job of just showing people as people, living like people, and not making it, the you gotta look at me kind of thing, which, a lot of the other shows, I'm kind of like, come on guys, really? But, yeah, they do a great job with all of this. Now, I do have to make a note here. There's one small thing, if you don't like what I'm getting ready to tell you, that will make you not like this show. And that is, if you're easily triggered or upset by, and if you know anything about the BDSM community, in the BDSM community, there's something called edging, and there's something called mindfucking. This is this story, the main character, that's what he's doing. So if you know anything about BDSM, then you'll understand more about the character, so that when the other characters say things like, oh, that person's in trouble because, he's targeting that person, it makes more sense in the uncensored version, because you'll understand what they mean by that. In the censored version, because they're not showing a lot of the additional sex scenes, and they're not showing how they got up to the point of having sex, it comes across where, for instance, there are scenes that imply that the bottom, as it were, was the aggressor in that particular scene. If you see the whole scene, he's not really the aggressor. He's being edged into becoming the aggressor. It's a mind fuck. With those things being removed, it kind of then leaves a few holes in the story. So, it doesn't make the story any less enjoyable. I don't want you to think, oh my God, if it's censored, it's going to be terrible. It's not that. It's that it just gives you the wrong impression of who these guys really are. Like, why is it so easy for the younger guy to have the tables turned on him and he doesn't realize that's what happened? Because the main character, Payu, well, they're both main characters. Payu is using a BDSM tactic that is on the border of sadomasochism, but it's in the mind. And it's the things like, he repeats the same things over and over to him when he's trying to get him in the mood. So while Rain is thinking that, Payu's just an asshole and he doesn't understand why he's behaving this way, it's the sex story, the sex scenes, even the ones that are incomplete, that's what the edging parts are about, that tell you who Payu really is. So that's the only downside, I think, of if you're watching the censored version first, is that you're going to miss who Payu is, because they don't show you who he really is. They're only going to show you the persona that's related to just that relationship, when so much of that is in how he interacts. It's not what he's necessarily saying. It's not even necessarily what he's doing. It's all the stuff that's a result. It's like if you ever watch a magic show, the magician doesn't tell you how he got the bird or the bunny to show up in a cage or fly out of a hat. If he showed you that part, it wouldn't be much of a show. Well, it's the same thing with this. It's like, yeah, you can see there's a relationship developing, but in the back of your mind, it becomes, but why? If this guy is irritating the other guy, he's scaring him, he's threatening him, he's got him thinking that, he's going to pop up anywhere and tell all his friends that, he's bending him over or whatever. He doesn't actually do or say, and it's an illusion. That's what he's doing. But to see it, you have to see the entirety of, like, from the very beginning. The fact that they have this way. Now, those parts of the story are still in there where they go backwards to let you know that, yeah, he'd been set up from jump, but he didn't know that, and neither did the audience. And for the most part, it's set up to do what, though? Set up how, though? So, yeah, I know you're probably thinking, you're going to tell me the whole story? No, I'm not. In fact, I'm not telling you what anything actually happens. What I'm letting you know is you need to watch the uncensored version first if you want to see the real Payu and not just the sweet BL storyline that you're getting from the uncensored version. From the censored version, because he is portrayed differently in the censored version. It's not, the story itself is not changed. Let me reiterate, it is the exact same story. It's just that it's kind of like somebody took the gravy off the pork chop, so now you're looking at a pork chop, you just don't know how it got soft. Yeah, because they took the gravy off. So just so you know. But overall, will you like the show? Yes. This show, I think, like I said, the only people I can think of who won't like it is if you have a real aversion to watching guys make out. And that's both the censored and uncensored, because the story is still revolved around the sex act, whether you're talking the story between Payu and Rain or the secondary story. The sex is the big reason why these two are even involved with each other, one way or the other. It's without that, there is no BL. There is no reason for these guys to engage with each other except for that. And I think that's one of the things I really appreciate about the story, is that oftentimes, BL tends to downplay the horniness of men. Or make it sound like, they don't really have to have sex. It's not that important. Anybody who's ever dated a guy, date a guy, then come back and say that 6 months from now and tell me how important sex is to a man. I'm just saying. Anyway, to the point. So, yeah, that would be the only reason you wouldn't like it. And, because everything else, like I said, it's done very well. The story, music, production, characters, acting. There's nothing I can think of about this that would make a BL fan say, oh, hell no. Now, they'll like this one. Even the kind of over-the-top stuff is still, it's still spot on. I remember, I was getting ready to do this review, and I thought, well, if you like the innocent type and the blushing and all, you're not going to get a lot. But actually, you get that too, because Rain is the innocent one in the story, so you get it. It's just not in the sweet boy love that we're accustomed to. It's more of the terrified blushing. Okay, so yeah, I'll wrap that part up. And yes, I believe that, you'll like it. I really can't think of any reason why you wouldn't. Okay, so is there anything that you need to know? Yeah, a few things. There is a special episode that comes after the end of the first Love is in the Air. And there were a lot of rumors surrounding the creation of this show. If you're interested in that kind of thing, I'll try to find them if I can and put them in the gossip playlist. But, there's a lot of stuff being said about the characters. And I don't know if it's negative or positive because I didn't really listen to it. I'm just saying it was out there. It was put out there when the show came out, which at this point is probably over a year ago. There is a special episode. That one is probably not going to be on YouTube anywhere, because that episode If you thought they were getting down in the hot, down and dirty in the series, the special episode, Lord have mercy, make sure you have a tall glass of water and a whole lot of extra ice. All I can say. That's wow. Those guys once again prove that they are definitely adults. I'll put it that way. But I don't know if it has the same title. That's the drawback. If I do find it, then I'll post it somewhere so you can find it yourself. It is online. At least it was back when this came out, because when I found it, I was kind of surprised. You might be able to find it. The people that made this, I think they're called Me Mind Why. So they might have it on their website somewhere. But don't quote me on that, because there's one of these groups has a website that has viruses. It screwed my computer up. I was so pissed off. I don't think it's them, though. I think it was IQIY, whatever. Okay, sorry. The train just jumped the track for a second because, re-envisioning hot guys makes me think I'm probably going to go watch this again. But anyway, so there's about 13 episodes. It's about 45 minutes long. I would say that neither the censored or uncensored version are rated appropriate for children. So these are definitely NFSWs. They are rated R. Please do not watch this at work. Oh my God, unless you want to get fired. And okay, you're early. Sorry about that. And let's see, lost my train of thought again. Yeah, but there is a special, and then I think that's about it. That's about it for this one. But it is worth watching. It really is. I would suggest anybody who likes BL to watch this and enjoy it for what it is, because, well, as some of my friends would say, well, damn. So, yeah, so if you have seen it, then please feel free to comment, let other people know what you thought about it. And, yeah, so that's what our comment section is for, is to let everybody know so they know whether or not it's worth watching, not just based on my word, but based on the word of other BL fans as well. I mean, because, as we know, my opinion might not match yours, although my opinion on this one, this is hot. Anyone who says otherwise, well, then you need glasses. Okay, I'm kidding. Alrighty, anyway, so as always, if you like it, you'll love it, and if you don't, you won't, and I'll see you on the next one. Spideera is out of here.